And we're back at it again with another live one for all you Biconics wrestling fanatics on the YouTube land. And welcome to another Pinfall Playback, a specialty series where we review anything and everything PLE and pay-per-view related. And this particular episode, the Table for Two Electra Boogaloo Squad is here to review Impact Wrestling's Victory Road pay-per-view from September 8th. Yeah, September 8th. It's been 2 days. September 8th, 2023. As always, I am your host, Mikey, joined by my other host, Will. Will, it is a pleasure to have you back. We've seen a lot of each other this week.
We really have. It's funny. It's like, what? Crazy. I don't know why. It feels like I just saw you yesterday or something.
Seriously. As mentioned, me and Will here are going to be reviewing Impact Wrestling's Victory Road pay-per-view. We said this in our Impact Wrestling review for the Go Home show. We weren't too sure how this was we weren't too sure exactly what was going to happen because while the matches were fine in the Go Home show, the promo and the angle building was kind of all over the place, and we kind of expressed that. So, at least for me, I wasn't too sure exactly what to expect for this pay-per-view. And I gotta be perfectly honest, overall, minus a couple things here and there, I actually really enjoyed this pay-per-view. Even though we only had 2 weeks between Emergence and Victory Road to build to this one, I really enjoyed this.
I did too. This one was really good. I agree with you. Like you said, I wasn't sure what we were going to get. I mean, after the Go Home show, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a disaster.
Honestly, I was like, what is happening? What are we doing? But you know what?
No.
I am happy that I was pleasantly surprised.
Indeed. Indeed.
So let's just jump straight into it. As always, with these Impact pay-per-views, we always have the countdown to pre-show. So this one was the countdown to Victory Road. And we started out with our buddy, Alan Angels, who we remember last time from Emergence pre-show when he and Mike Bailey took each other on. And he held an open challenge in New York. And so I will say, I had a lot of questions because I was like, okay, are we going to make Alan a face or a heel? And then the promo he cut before his opponent entered, I was like, oh, okay, so this is going to be heel Alan Angels. I'm here for it. Mm-hmm. So, indeed. Of course, get the cheap pop by, bashing New York, which, as somebody who has a parent who is from New York, like, it's do or die, so be very careful what you say about New York, because they are not afraid to let you know that you are being a butthole.
Or cut you.
Seriously.
They will cut you.
They will listen, New York is crazy out here. So I was interested to see who we got, and then... So I don't want to be that person, but this name is so great. And he is an Impact legend amongst the things. And I know he's a big, prominent figure in the tri-state New York area of wrestling. But Alan Angels has his challenger. And who accepts Alan Angels' challenge but New York local Guido Maritato? Lord have mercy. This is the most stereotypical name, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. But it was he sold it. So because I think the text message I sent you was, Guido, really? No, but he was. Oh yeah, he came in and he was 100% in character. I was like, okay, I got you, buddy. We're good.
I don't really have too many notes on this match, not because I was in awe of what was happening. It was because at this point, the match kind of started. We got like maybe about a minute, and then we just got the audio because the video was not working. And at first I was like, is it my thing? Is it not working? No, come to find out that the production truck managed to mess it up. And so we missed pretty much like a good chunk of this match.
Yeah, like 10, almost, no, not 10 minutes. It was like 5 minutes of it. I was just like, I think I just missed the whole match.
I was
I
like,
was
I
like,
hear wrestling, I don't see wrestling.
no, not at all. Nope.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And and then it came back on, and then we got 30 minutes in which Alan Angels pulls his finisher and then picks up the win. I was like, oh, okay, well, that was a match, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It came back and it was like, ding. I was like, well done there, Alan. I didn't get to see any of it.
Man, it's unfortunate. Poor, like for both Guido and for
Yeah.
Alan both. I was like, man, because I heard the crowd was going nuts, and I want to see, I want to see. Oh, it's over.
Yep.
Oh man,
Yep. I was so mad. I was so mad.
I
And I
know.
have to say, Alan is fine. That man is fine.
We stand our short kings in this household, in both our households.
Yeah. Mm,
Fun sized.
yeah. Yes. You could have a
And
lot of
again,
fun.
still wrestling with his earring in. I was just like, sir,
Yeah.
this is great. Just make sure nobody pulls it.
Oh my god, I know. That's the last time he was fighting. I was just like, oh no, earring. Oh no, oh no, oh no. And it never once. I was like, okay, okay. I would think another wrestler would have been like, hey, there's an earring, yank. It's like, but I didn't. So I was like, hallelujah, because I probably would have fainted.
But Alan picks up the win here. I want to see Alan on the main card of Impact, please. Hopefully we get something for Bound for Glory, since it's one of the big 4 Impact pay-per-views. So throw him in an Ultimate X match, throw him in the number 1 contenders for the X division. I want to see him on the main card, please.
Mm-hmm. I
So
agree.
now, what I love about the countdown is that they're not afraid to continue to build story angles on this, because as soon as this match was over, we get a small recap video package, and then we see PCO walking through the parking lot, heading inside the arena, getting prepared and everything. And then Bully Ray literally commits vehicular manslaughter because he runs PCO over and hits him with the car.
Oh my god. Yeah.
He's Listen, Bully Ray is trying anything and everything to not have this match with PCO,
Yeah.
and it is a thing that continues all the way up until their match
Oh,
happens
it
later
does.
on the main card. But literally, Bully Ray hits PCO with the car, yells at him, and then proceeds to leave like that's going to stop him. I'm like, sir, this is Frankenstein's monster. You are going to have to try harder than that to keep
Yeah.
PCO down.
And he does. He does as we go through this.
Literally, vehicular manslaughter. We'll talk about potential arson.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, are we? I was like, dang. And see, I love this silliness because Bully Ray's the perfect person to be this. He's just so over the top. He's so dramatic, but it works in this case.
I
Man, I
I
love it.
love I absolutely love the the quirkiness between Bully Ray and PCO. I freaking love it. It is so over the top and dramatic and so comedic. It just I just fall into it. It's I mean every single little movies throughout the whole event, all the Bully Ray scenes, I was there for. I was like, I'm here for it. What you got? What's happening now? How are you going to try to stop him? I want to know. And it pays off, and it's wonderful. I just love it.
I do too, and it continues throughout the evening, leading into their match, which we'll touch on when we get to the main card. But to kind of close out the countdown to Victory Road pre-show, the second match we have here is ABC, which is Ace Austin and Chris Bay taking on. Now, this is the unofficial tag team, the most professional wrestling gods, which is Moose and Brian Myers. Listen, anytime you put ABC in a match, I already know this is going to be great. And then Moose and Brian Myers are also really great too. This was a fun match. And of course, I'm biased because I love Chris Bay as a wrestler. He's one of my favorites currently in Impact. Just what he can do in the ring is phenomenal, both singles and tag team. But this was a lot of fun.
It was, and my God, Moose is huge. That man is massive.
It's that former football player, man. They tend to be built like brick houses.
I mean, I was just like, when he's standing in the ring and they're all around him, I'm just like, he's a giant.
He's a
Like,
very tall man.
and broad. I mean, he's
Yep.
just a tank.
I'm telling you, that footballer in here, man, that footballer.
Man, it was. I was just like, I don't see how these guys are going to survive this. I really didn't. But the bigger they are, the harder they fall, as they
Okay,
say.
exactly. And we kind of started seeing this halfway through this match when Chris Bay, you know, countered that power bomb from Moose and then did a step up Gary to kick him to knock him down a little bit. I was like, listen, I love Chris Bay's offense. He's very
Oh yeah.
innovative. But oh my goodness, Ace when he and Ace Austin start doing their tag team stuff, it is just go, go, go. Like they don't let the opponents breathe, which I love, especially if your tag team is smaller than the guys that you're fighting. It's like you got to use that speed and that quickness to just don't give them an
Don't
inch to
get caught.
breathe.
Yeah, no, it was like you gotta run, man, run. Don't let them get you. You get them before they get you.
Exactly. And then when Ace Austin, when he tagged in and then off the rope, that springboard kick, even though to Brian Myers was crazy. And then it was just great. It was just
Oh, I
great.
know. When Austin tagged in, man, he started whooping ass. I mean, and I love that. And I know that's sort of a tag team thing. Like one person fights for so long, and then they're like, "Oh, a tag finally," and then the partner comes in just wailing.
Yep.
But
Yep.
Austin, man, he came in there just literally just whooping ass, and it was so good. It was so good to watch. Yeah, and those tag team skills kicked in, and we started seeing. At least I did. I started seeing the tables starting to turn at that point, and I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe this is not going to turn out the way I thought it was going to turn out."
I mean, it got very close
It
because
did.
Moose and Myers hit Ace Austin and Chris Bay with power
Ooh,
bombs.
wow, yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I was like, oops, there it is. And then Chris Bay avoids the roster cut clothesline and then just quickly rolls up, Brian Myers to win. I was just
Oh
like,
yeah.
yes,
Yep.
quickness. Normally, I hate the surprise roll up as a finisher, but
But
I
it
think
worked.
I think it works in this case because the quickness. And it's like, listen, we've done a lot, but we need to end this match quickly. So let's just roll them up when they're not paying attention. And that's exactly what Chris Bay did to pick up the win for ABC in this particular match.
Yep. This was a really good match. And then we were talking before we were recording, and I was kind of like, why wasn't this on the main roster? I mean, this was a good match. This is a main roster match. I mean, this was like truly. I mean, it was even. It was like both teams were even in their skills and their abilities, and I mean the tagging, the pinning, it was. I mean, it was a good match, and
It
it could have
was great.
easily lived in the main roster.
Uh, I know. And then I'm looking, I'm like, maybe there might be one match I could have switched this match with on the main card.
Yeah,
Probably. Yeah, there's only really one match I
yeah,
can switch with it. But I mean, for the purposes of who's involved, I understand why it's not on the pre-show, but we'll get to that match in a little bit.
yeah.
And
We will.
yeah, so I think Will knows which one I'm
Yes,
talking
I do.
about.
Yes, I do. Because it's the same one. I'm like, why?
Again, we'll talk about it, but man, the champion can never catch a break because the last pay-per-view he got stuck with an opponent that wasn't necessarily the greatest either, but we'll see what happens. So, as soon as that match ends, then we get the intro video. I love the intro video packages for the pay-per-views because they do a good job of briefly summarizing like what matches to expect, how we got here. I love Impact's video packages because it takes like 2 to 3 minutes and then we're off to the races, so to speak. Like you summarize everything where other companies take like 5 to 7 minutes to do so. I'm like, you guys, like, I'm not here for a short film. Just give me 2, 3 Spark Notes version, and we're good to go. And then, of course, commentary does their thing. They get the crowd hyped. They introduce, and we immediately go into our opening match of the card for the X Division Championship. We have Kushida cashing in his Ultimate X opportunity, so the number one contendership, and he is facing champion Lio Rush. This match fucking ruled.
It did. This was a great opening match. I'm like, at first I was like, well, it's Kushida and Leo. Okay, it could be good, but no, it was damn good. I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised, because it did, because how it started. I love. It's so funny. Is that Leo is so, he acts like a little bitch sometimes, and runs away, and I'm like, come on, dude. I mean, if you're gonna talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. And then he comes back in, and it was all fun little pre gaming in their match, and it just really kind of set up what was happening. And I thoroughly enjoyed this match, and I love Kushida's style of fighting. I really like his style of fighting, and
I know.
I really want, just for shits and giggles sometime, I really want them to pair him up with someone who is going to use pair up with Leo, who's going to use his moves against him. Because his moves are great. There's fast and don't know where he's going to go, and I'm like, that's so cool. But I'm like, I'd love for him to come up against someone who knows his moves and like literally anticipates and like catches him. So he has to like think on his feet, because like all wrestlers, they have their thing, they have their shtick, and they have their signature moves or whatever. And I just want to see we've had this discussion before. I think with one of the ladies. Well, yeah, we're going to talk about later. That you have all these cool moves, but you use them all the time, so we're all familiar with them. So now it's like, put them against someone. If you want really good theater, is put them with someone who knows their moves and can use their moves against them. And that to me is super fun. So then that person has to start rethinking, is like, oh crap, they know my moves. What can I do now? So then it's like, yeah, there you go, and then start doing some new stuff and like more interesting. And so anyway, but I love this match. I love both of these wrestlers. I had to warm up to him, just because he was a cocky little shit, and he still is, which is great. But that's grown on me.
It works for his character, and I think his kind of character choice of being the cocky little shit, as we have described him, I think it really works better when it's a one-on-one instead of like the last time we saw Leo, which was in a multi-man. And especially against someone like Kushida, because these two have history in other promotions and just in the wrestling world and the independent scene in general. I love that the first half of this match, again, the running away, and then Leo messing with Kushida by putting on his glasses, and then trying to use the championship belt. And then as soon as he puts it back and, the mind games start happening, Kushida then kicks it into high gear when he, surprises Leo, tries to put him in the hoverboard lock. That Spanish fly from Kushida onto Leo into the hoverboard lock was a thing of beauty. I love the Spanish fly as a move. It's one of my favorites outside of the Tiger Driver and the Canadian Destroyer. I love it so much.
Oh, I do too.
And then, of course, this match couldn't end without some controversy. So the referee almost gets hit from that Spanish fly into the hoverlock, which allows Leo to hit the low blow to Kushida, which Leo capitalizes and hits the final hour on Kushida to retain the X Division Championship. This match was so much fun, and this was a fun way to open up Victory Road.
Yes, it really was. And And but my whole thing is the nut shots, man. Well, it's just so like, is that the only way you can win? To me, it doesn't make you look stronger. To me, it makes you look weaker. Because
Hmm.
I was like, come on, dude, Leo, you could do this. I was like, you can take him out easily. You could do this. But no, he goes for the nut shot, and I'm like, you almost had me, man. You almost had me on your side. And then I was like, no. But this was a great fight. I mean, it really was. It was a superb match. Superb opener.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
it got
And
me hyped.
if we're not giving a rematch to Kushida for Bound for Glory, I can think of 3 wrestlers immediately that I would love to see go up against Leo for that title at Bound for Glory. And those 3 is, like we talked about him earlier, Alan Angels would be fun. Put Speedball Mike Bailey against him. Mike Bailey would be amazing. And then someone you haven't seen yet, but I think would be really, really good, especially because they know each other very well, is Jonathan Gresham. So you haven't seen him wrestle yet, but I love Jonathan Gresham so much. And he also happens to be the husband of Jordan Grace, who we'll talk about later in this match.
Oh, very cool.
But this was a fun way to open this
This
up.
was a great way.
I love this match. It was so much fun.
We started strong, man. We are starting strong.
And so we get our first PCO and Bully Ray kind of storyline before their match. So we cut backstage and we see Santino Marella, who is kind of like the sheriff for the talent. So he's like the general manager, if you will. So literally, PCO is lying there on the gurney and they're trying to, like, the paramedics are trying to, put him in the gurney. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, Santino's like, bro, he got ran over a car. He's not clear for this match. And being the Frankenstein monster that he is, PCO literally rises up, yells for Bully Ray, and then gets up out of the gurney to go find Bully Ray. Again, I'm here for the silliness. And Santino and the rest of the paramedics, they're just like clutching their pearls. They're like, what just happened?
Yep, that was a fun sort of video pack. I love that. This whole PCO bully rate thing just has me. I am sold on it. I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. I will not lie, and I enjoyed every damn minute of it. Yeah, and this little bit with him on the thing, like he can't fight. We gotta get him out. Blah blah blah. He's like, whoa! And they're all like, what the hell? And he's like, oh, I was like, oh my god, I'm here for it. I'm like here for it. It's like I cannot wait to see what happens next in this saga.
Seriously, I love this so much. So we go from that segment and we jump straight into our next match. So this is for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. We have the challengers, the Shantaraj, which is being represented in ring at least by Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans, being accompanied by gay bestie Jay Vidal.
He wasn't as annoying this time around.
No, I love Jay Vidal. He's so extra, but I'm here for it. And then, of course, they take on the champions, MK Ultra, the team of Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly. Listen, MK Ultra's entrance and their whole aesthetic is a gay man, lesbians, bisexual, pansexual, queer. Like, it is even a straight man. It is like they coming for all the he, she's, theys, and gays.
Yep. In my notes, I called them S&M Ultra.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich can do whatever they want, and I would be okay with telling them to hit me harder.
I know, right? Yes, ma'am.
I was just like, I'm sitting here and I'm watching the entrance, and like when Masha puts like the chain on Killer Kelly, I was just like, is this PG? Like, what are we watching? Like, is this kosher? Like, what is? Again, Team Kink is crazy, and I love them. This match, I mean, I knew that MK Ultra wasn't losing the titles here. Like, come on, it was a foregone conclusion. But man, Giselle Shaw continues to show like she is awesome. What I really like though too in this particular match, only because Savannah, this is like she's like only a year and a half, 2 years Impact now, she has improved so much. And I saw that in this match. But of course, I can never bet against my kind of lesbians.
Yeah.
I mean, they could
Well,
be, and I'd be here for it.
I loved it. I loved it at the beginning. I knew what kind of match it was going to be when the announcers were talking about Giselle and Savannah. I think it was when they first introed them. And they're talking about Giselle if she wins the title. Or if they win the title. His actual quote was, Giselle would be insufferable. And I cried laughing. I was like, that is hilarious.
I love when I love when the commentators are shady. I love it when they are shady. I was just like, yes. I love when commentators like tell us their disdain for certain people in character. It is the greatest thing
it
on the
was
planet.
fantastic.
I mean, where do I even start? Because this match was crazy. Immediately, like towards even like when the match started, Killer Kelly hits Giselle with the fisherman suplex right out the gate. I was like, oh my god. I was like, listen, MK Ultra is not playing around.
No, but and then there for a little bit though, Killer Kelly was getting ruined. Man, they teamed up on her. I was like, shit.
Exactly. So like Giselle hit the shotgun off for a 2 count and then tags Savannah so she gets Killer Kelly in as a butterfly suplex. Oh my goodness. But see, Giselle and Savannah were smart because they keep going after Kelly and they cut her off and keep doing quick tans to keep her from getting to Masha because they knew once Masha gets in, it's a whole different match because Masha will kill anybody and everybody.
And man, did it occur.
So I know. So Giselle, they cut off the ring. They keep employing the hot tags. So Giselle tries to charge Kelly in the corner, but she dodges, and then Kelly makes her way to Masha. And then I was like, oh, that's it. I was like, Masha wrecked house after she got in. Jay tries to get on the apron, which kind of works because it allowed Giselle and Savannah to kind of turn the tide on Slamovich when the referee was distracted. But then one of my favorite things is the miscommunication. So Savannah goes for a big boot, but the miscommunication, and she kicks Giselle in the face and knocks her off the apron. And as she turns around, she's about to face Masha. Jay tries to get in, but Killer Kelly neutralizes Jay, which allows which allows Masha to hit a vicious roundhouse kick. I was like, oh my gosh, that sound, it hurt. It hurt me. And then she hit her finisher, the snowplow, on Savannah to get the win. And still your Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, S&M Ultra, MK Ultra, whatever you want to call it. Hit me harder, mommies, please.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the Dommy mommies.
Yes, there you go. Like this is like you're right. This is like a lesbian straight man bi's dream. I mean, there was these 4 women just. I mean, it was like you have like the sort of butch lesbians against like lipstick lesbians, and it was fantastic.
Yes,
it was fantastic.
That is the best way to describe this match because I was like, so how would you describe this match? Literally, it's butch lesbians versus
lipstick lesbians. I mean, it was beautiful to watch.
It was a work of art. I recommend 10 out of 10.
Yep, it was a fantastic match. It was truly just watching. I mean, when Slamovich got in that ring, I was like, oh, that's it. Okay, I'm thinking this is going to end real soon. Nope. I was like,
what I loved is that they gave this a pretty good chunk of time. This was like 9 or 10 minutes. Yeah. I was like, this was awesome.
Yes, that was like, yes. Because I was thinking, oh, here we go. Women's match. It's going to be super short, blah, blah, blah. No build up, no character development, nope. This one ran it ran all close to 10 minutes. And I was like, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Because it was going, and I was like, ooh, we're still going? All right, I'm here for it. Let's come on, girls, come on. And they did. And I was like, about time. that the women get some decent time on that and those rings, because I'm sick and tired of the here we go fight. Oh, 3 minutes, ding, you're done.
Take notes, other companies. We want to
Yes,
watch women's wrestling, especially
yes,
women's tag team wrestling. It is amazing.
yes. My
It was so
God,
good.
it was. It was
Now,
so.
what has me interested is we have a couple weeks until Bound for Glory, so I'm interested to see who is going to face MK Ultra at Bound for Glory, because I know we're getting a match at some point. Because I mean, if it's a rematch with the Shantaraj, cool. But then you also have the Coven kind of hanging around. You preferably, I would love to see the Death Dolls
Me
versus
too.
MK
Oh
Ultra.
my God,
I
yes.
love the Death Dolls.
Me too. I mean, I guess it's kind of open because they don't have any like. I mean, I know they have rivalries, but they don't have any open rivalries right now because we didn't see any other than Giselle's issues. I didn't. I don't remember the multiple tag that they
Yeah,
had.
in that fatal four way.
Yeah, that's it. I don't.
Because that match was made because MK Ultra went to Scott Demore and to Santino. It's just like all these Masha's. I love that Masha speaks in Russian and Killer Kelly. She's like what she said.
Yeah,
But I love the fact that Masha just says everything in Russian, which just makes it hotter for me.
yeah.
I was like,
It's-
listen, she's about to again hit me harder. And then I know that Killer Kelly comes from South America too, and that accent is beautiful. But that match at Emergence was made. It's like all the women want to fight us. Let the essentially
yeah,
this
let
is
them
just
all
like let
fight
them all
us.
fight us. I was
So I
like,
guess
that is how you do it as
that is.
champions. Is like I got multiple challengers. I'll take them all on at once.
So I guess it's anybody's game after that. I mean, I guess we're gonna. I guess we'll have to wait and see who's going to be next.
That is very true. And Bound for Glory has historically also been important in the sense that either they bring back people from injury or, they sign new people and bring them on. Because last year we had the debut of The Inspiration, which was this Aussie tag team of the Iconics from WWE. And that match was so good. Bound for Glory is known for debuts and people coming back. So I'm interested to see what happens. I mean, we have a couple weeks, so just please let it be a fun match and give them somebody where I'm just like, I want to scream at my television like I did during this match.
Yes, yes, me too. God, I got so vocal during this one.
So one of the beautiful things is that Will and I, when we're watching these things, whether it be the TV reviews or the pay-per-views, like we always message and text each other. And I love that half the time during the text message, either both of us or one of us will say, I was like, my significant other or, the person I'm living with had to come and check on me because I got loud at a certain part and they asked if I was okay.
Yep, yep, that was my hubby. He's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Sorry, wrestling."
It's like I'm yelling at lesbians on my screen.
Yes, I'm yelling at the lesbians.
So after this match, we get the second installment of the Bully Ray and PCO saga because PCO is looking for Bully Ray, and then Bully Ray blindsides PCO with the steel chair and keeps screaming, "You're just a man," which is great because he's getting paranoid and scared. And then this is where we see vehicular manslaughter didn't work. So then Bully Ray attempts, arson.
Yeah,
So, I was just like, oh, what are we doing? Oh, wait, is that what I think it is? And then I saw the match. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's gasoline. I was like, he's about to set a man on fire. I'm about to witness arson on my television screen. And then the best thing happened because as Bully tries to light PCO on fire, PCO spits gasoline
yes, in his eyes.
into his eyes. And then Bully Ray's like, literally the SpongeBob scream is like, my eyes.
Yep. And off he went. It was
Such a drama queen. I loved it.
this is just it's just building up and building up and building up, and I'm just like, this is theater at its best. This is as I've said in previous review. This is showmanship right here. This is pure showmanship because I am
absolutely.
I am bought into it. I have bought into it. I am looking for the next one. I was literally like in a match going, "Ooh, I wonder what we're going to see next with the PCO Bully Ray saga." Whenever the match is over, I'm like, "Ooh, are we going to get more? Are we going to get more?" It was literally like that the whole night.
And we're not done because we'll get more a little bit later before their match. And I'm like, yes, this is what I want to see. Okay, so this next match, right? Now, this, in my opinion, is how you make a match more so to serve the purpose of developing a wrestling character more than actual physicality. Because this was a good storytelling match for me. Crazy Steve versus Black Taurus. Literally, there are 3 different ways to say it, and we can't agree on which one it is. So you're going to be hearing various iterations throughout this segment, but my God, Crazy Steve's new entrance is visually haunting.
It
I
is.
love it.
Mm-hmm. Creepy, cool.
That mask, man.
Oh
That
my
mask.
God. But when he does the reveal, though, that is, talk about creep.
That's the money shot right there.
Yeah, he's all like, and I'm like, oh my God. That's why I was like, creepy cool with that mask reveal. And I love that the announcer was scared of him. I love that.
The continuity from the
Yes.
interview. And like the video package we got, again, I love that the video packages do a good job with Impact. They are only like a minute to 2 minutes long, and they give you all the important bits of what led to this match. So we literally had a 3-part interview over the course of the last couple of weeks with one of the commentators, Tom Hannafan, and Crazy Steve. And we learned a lot about Crazy Steve. Like, I didn't know he was blind or he was he's almost blind. And the doctor said he only has like a year or 2 left to wrestle before he completely loses his eyesight. I'm like, Crazy Steve, no. I'm like, and then like he talked about, his like private home life, where he talked about like on the biggest night of win in an Impact, like his mom passed away because she committed the self things. I was like, this interview got dark real quick.
Yeah, dude.
And then towards the end part of this, Crazy Steve is like, he loses it in the interview. He's like, I need people to understand. I was like, it's Crazy Steve. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And again, the money shot of the commentator just standing up and just has like this look of fear as he's looking during Crazy Steve's entrance. I was just like, continuity.
Yep.
I love to see it.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was so funny when the camera went over there and he's all like,
it's like all he needed was a blanket and just like be a kid under the cover. Because literally, Crazy Steve's new reinvented character literally is the Boogeyman, and I love it.
Me too. I love it. I think it's great. And then Taurus.
The first thing that Will messaged me before this match started is like, how do you wrestle in a full bullhead? Yes. I was like, lots of practice. Yeah, or, kinky.
Kinky, yeah. I was like, God, how does he do it? I was like, good man. I mean, good job on you. And I was like, and then my next note is Beefy Bull.
Listen.
He's a beefy man.
And I forget that, they're like from Mexico City. I was like, oh, I forgot. He's a brown boy. Let's go.
Yeah, yummy.
Which makes sense. I was like, oh, yeah, he has a mask, so he's a luchador. Duh.
Taurus. But I guess that makes sense.
He's a big luchador.
He's huge. He's another big guy, like a moose-sized guy. Jeez. We got a moose and we got a bull. Hey, what are you doing?
It's like we're getting all the aminals up in here.
Yeah, but we are.
Black Taurus is so agile for a big guy, and I loved it. I was just like, the bell rings, and literally, like a bull in a china shop, no pun intended, like throw Crazy Steve into the corner and then hits the power slam, like, which causes Crazy Steve to go on the outside. And then, like, the match continues from that point, and, like, doesn't even get back in the ring. Crazy Steve goes over to confront Tom, and it's just like, hey, and Tom's like, get away from me.
He does. It's so funny. It's so funny.
This match was vicious in the sense that Crazy Steve wasn't going for high flying moves or crazy things. Like, he was literally going in for the kill. Like, he targets the eyes and then does the Russian leg sweep. The Samoan draw from Black Taurus doesn't work. And, like, puts Black Taurus in a modified crucifix draw. Like, this is like if The Exorcist was a wrestler, like with all the moves that Crazy Steve was doing, I was just like, oh
Like that
my gosh.
clothesline off that top rope. I was like, ugh. It hurt me. I was like, oh my God.
But see, technically, Black Taurus had the match won, but because of his relationship with Crazy Steve and
Oh.
Decay, he hesitated, and that was the downfall of Black
Yeah.
Taurus because it allowed Crazy Steve to attack him from behind, and then Crazy Steve,
Mm,
Crazy Steve pulls out a fork. Will
I
I was like,
know.
what the hell is this? I
And
was
what's
like,
so
what?
funny is like where he got it from. I was like,
That's what
why
I
is
want to
there a
know,
fork under the announcer's table? I was
sir.
like,
Where did you find a fork?
oh, I'm sorry. I was eating a salad earlier. I don't know where he got that damn fork. It was just like, oh, fork. And it's like, oh, God. What's
I was
about to
like,
happen?
are we about to witness someone get stabbed with a fork? But
Yeah, that's
no,
no.
because Black Taurus knocks it out of Crazy Steve's hands, and then the ref grabs it and then turns around to get rid of it. Now, see, this is where a wonky finish I'm okay with because instead of going for
Yeah.
the nut shot, Crazy Steve once again goes for the eyeballs.
Yep.
And then, which allows him, I love Crazy Steve's new finisher, the Belladonna's Kiss, man. I was
Yeah.
like, that was, ooh, that finisher was beautiful, which
Mm-hmm.
allowed Crazy Steve to win. And then he continues to laugh
Oh, my
as
God.
Tom's just like, keep him away from me.
Oh, then he puts Turbo's in his lap. His head in his lap, and he's like petting him.
It's like,
And
shh.
I was like, oh.
I was like, sir, this is something out of a Tim Burton movie, and I'm here for it.
I was like, oh my God. I think he's going to wear his skin. I swear.
Oh
This,
my gosh. Listen, like his mask is kind of similar to that. So, oh
yeah, I
my
know.
gosh, what if he like wears the skins of the people he
Yeah.
defeats or makes
Ooh.
masks of them? I'm like,
I love it. I'm here for it. If he was to do that, I would pay
I'm
to
creeped
watch
out, but I'm
everything he's
here.
in.
I'm creeped out, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, this was weirdness at its best.
So
Absolutely.
again, sometimes a match doesn't need to be about high fly. Like, listen, I love me a good technical match, but I love a character development match. And that's exactly what this was.
Yep.
We still got a bit of back and forth in terms of physicality,
Mhm.
but this match was to show that Crazy Steve is gone to psychotic levels of craziness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my.
Like cray cray.
I need more Crazy Steve. And now that I know all this personal information about him that I didn't know before, now I'm like, I'm more behind Crazy Steve than I was before.
I know, me too. I love Crazy Steve. But I guess that's just me. I guess I'm into the like the showman part of it. I mean, because it is so showy and cheesy sometimes. The crazy, the crazy characters, and and I love it. I just love like this whole PCO Bully Ray thing. I love it, and I hope it continues. I really do. It's like, for a long time, I just want these two to be. I just want Bully Ray to be absolutely terrified of him.
Seriously, honestly, if Crazy Steve like Crazy Steve versus PCO, Crazy Steve versus Bully Ray would be fun. It's just like, listen, I dealt with Frankenstein's monster. Now you mean to tell me I got to deal with knockoff Freddy Krueger over here? Like, what is happening?
Imagine if it was like if PCO and Crazy Steve tag team together.
Oh my gosh,
I would be here for that too.
And I kid you not, like I mentioned this match type before on one of our previous reviews, but like Crazy Steve and PCO versus Bully Ray and a partner of his choice in a literal Monsters Ball match would be so much fun.
Oh my God. Or in a cage match or something. That would be fantastic.
Scott D'Amore, president of Impact Wrestling, if you watch this review, please let us know. This is what we want to see, and we will take our residuals when you make it happen.
Exactly. Hashtag give us this.
Seriously. So up to this point, I was just like, you know what? This has been a lot of fun. Like the energy's right. Like this is good. And then, so I want to preface by saying, God
bless.
I don't blame Kenny King. I think he's doing the best he can. But when you throw him to Johnny Swinger at Emergence, and now you're throwing him to Tommy Dreamer, I'm like, this man better get pushed to an X Division championship or get a shot at the main title because this man is putting in the work And his opponents these last two pay-per-views, listen, we know. We know. I was like, he has to help carry this match a lot. But prior to the match, so lovely Gia Miller is backstage interviewing Tommy Dreamer ahead of this title versus career match against digital media champion Kenny King. Tommy says that tonight's event is in the same building where he fell in love with pro wrestling at 10 years old. And then whatever happens tonight, Tommy promises that he won't go down without a fight. And I was just like, this was a better promo to explain what we're about to see than what we got on Thursday. I was like, sir, we did not need to cry on Thursday, but that's neither here nor there. And so we start this match for the Impact Digital Media Championship. Champion Kenny King defends the title against challenger Tommy Dreamer in a title versus career match where if Tommy loses, he will have to retire from professional wrestling. And immediately, as soon as the stipulation was announced, like 2 weeks ago, I was just like, oh, Tommy's definitely winning this. Though I wasn't expecting of how he got the title, though, because now I'm interested to see what happens after this, but we'll get into a little bit. First and foremost, Kenny King, I love you. I know these last two matches have not been easy for you. And I hate to say this, but his reign as Digital Media Championship has not been the best. So, fun fact for Will. So, Kenny King beat Joe Hendry to take the title off him. They had an amazing rematch at Against All Odds. Or no, they had a rematch at Slammiversary. That match ruled. But Kenny King emerged victorious. So I got excited to see who he'd face. Then we got Johnny Swinger at Emergence, and then we get Tommy Dreamer here. Nothing against Swinger and Dreamer here, but man, Kenny, if we don't get some sort of other championship opportunity for putting in the work to, help Swinger and Dreamer in your matches, I'm going to be very upset because Kenny is very talented. And honestly, if I'm being honest, instead of Tommy Dreamer, I would have loved to see Kenny versus Heath, if I'm being completely honest, if we're going to get all these people involved.
Yeah.
Tommy Dreamer, I appreciate the Terry Funk inspired gear, but baby, I was like, we need to tuck the shirt in. We need to wear an Under Armour shirt. Like, sir, like, listen, the body is not bodying. Like, the wear and tear has caught up with him. This match did not need to be this long. I'm sorry.
No, it didn't. I agree. And, speaking on that, he should have worn wrestling gear. I mean, truly. I mean, it was like those striped pants and that shirt. I mean, it was like, and again, I appreciate the Terry Funk tribute, but I mean, I think there was one point where he was outside the ring laying on the ground and he had to like tie his pants back up. I was just like, are you tying your pants back? What's happening right now? And I was just like, dude, just wear wrestling gear. I mean, I would rather see you in full on, like, the tight, sort of like the onesie, almost like what, Josh Alexander wears all the time, sort of that.
A wrestling singlet,
like a singlet.
And if you're not comfortable with that, you can wear like the leather pants with the trunks, or even like pants with the singlet underneath it. Like there are wrestlers that do that.
Yeah.
But Tommy,
he was frumpy and just. I honestly and truly do not see how this match went on as long as it did.
It did not need to go this long because so if we're going to divide this match into fourths, right? I feel like somewhere between the first fourth of the match to the first half of the match, I can immediately tell that Tommy was starting to get gassed. I'm like, Tommy Dreamer, I know you are getting up there in age, but sir, like, again, Kenny did a lot of the work, and then Tommy, trying to bust out the moves. I'm like, oh, this is painful to watch, and I love you, Tommy Dreamer, but this is not it.
I literally put down, this match makes me sad. I was literally
perfectly
sad.
Describes how I was feeling.
I was just like, it was like, it's like a car wreck. You couldn't look away from it. And I was just like, why are we doing this? I mean, not for Tommy, but the company. Why are you allowing this to happen? It's embarrassing. I felt embarrassed for him. And God bless King. I mean, truly. I mean, God bless him. He truly put on that show for both of them and basically carried that whole match on his shoulders. And I'm just like, I honestly was like, Tommy, retire.
Man. And most of this, like, Tommy was he was doing his best to get these moves in. But again, normally you want to try to get a match to be 50-50. But or in this case, like if you have a younger talent wrestling an older talent, then you want to at least try to do 70-30 if the legend is going to win. But the distribution felt more like 90-10, and it definitely showed here because Kenny did most of the heavy lifting. He did most of the spots. And again, Kenny's not like a spry 20-something-year-old. He's in his 30s. He's been wrestling for a while, but at least he can still go in the ways of what is needed. If he could do the fast stuff, he could do the power stuff, he could do the high flying spots. Tommy Dreamer is not that opponent. And so Kenny was doing anything and everything to make Tommy look good, and he tried, but Tommy was not reciprocating very, very well. But what made it interesting is so Kenny King's pupil, Sheldon John, like trips Dreamer up on the top rope as Tommy's trying to go to jump off the top rope. And the ref turns around to eject him out, which then, again, just like how Heath saved the promo from Thursday, Heath kind of saved the match because Heath comes in while the ref is distracted to blindside Kenny with his finisher, the wake up call out of nowhere. That wake up call is vicious, by the way. It's one of my favorite finishers. And then Tommy follows up with his signature, well, the saddest DDT I have ever seen in my life. And winner and new Impact Digital Media Champion, Tommy Dreamer. This made me feel really sad for
There's
multiple reasons.
there's no way, and I mean, there's no way that Tommy Dreamer can feel that he earned that title. There's no way. I'm sorry. First of all, you're right. Halfway through that match, I thought they were going to take Tommy Dreamer out of there on the stretcher.
Oof.
I was like, that man's going to have a heart attack, people. And Kenny should have walked away with that match. Should have walked away with it. And I don't know if this is some kind of saving face thing or what this was. But now it's like, now what are you going to do with him? There's no way that that man's going to hold up against someone like, imagine like going up against someone like Macklin or, or any of those. There's no way he'll never be able to hold his own. I mean, truly. And, nothing against him because it's just age, my man. Age and years of doing what you've done. It has a toll. It takes a toll. And we saw it in this match. It was halfway through. You were winded. I mean, you were barely able to get up, by yourself. I mean, it was like, man, I have mad respect for you, but you should retire. It's like, I mean, before you die. I mean, seriously. It's like, I mean, you can go and work out and get in the best shape of your life, but how old is he now? He's like, what?
You know what? Hold up.
I'm
Live
sure.
on the report, Mikey is going to be looking up Tommy Dreamer's
Good.
age. This is amazing podcasting. We're going to break it to you live as we look this up.
Exactly.
This is great podcasting. I love it. So Tommy Dreamer's age. No, seriously. Like, these are the
I
burning.
agree.
Tommy Dreamer is 52 years old, man. Come on.
He is 52.
Yes.
I am 52.
Ouch. And no shade, but you're a better looking 52 than Tommy Dreamer 52.
I thought that man was in his 70s. I really did. The way he was in that ring, the way he was, I was like, where's his cane? I mean, seriously. that man, God bless him, but dude, you should have taken the career ender and just retired. Seriously.
Just continue to be the backstage producer
Yeah,
like you've been doing. It's fine.
exactly. And I mean, let King have that. He should have had that title. I'm sorry. This match irritated me. One, it made me sad, and two, it irritated me because I was like, there is no way, there is no way that Kenny King did not win that match. There's no
This,
way.
yeah, this made me feel very sad inside. Now, the only glimmer of hope I saw coming from this is the fact that if Heath is going to be, I would like to see Heath, like, out of a sign of respect, but Heath be the one to take that title off Tommy as soon as we can, because at least Heath can still go in the ring, and you can run Heath versus Kenny as a feud, and I would be so here for that match, honestly.
Or or he can just forfeit it. He can just give it up. Like, hey,
Yes,
I did it. I won it. Here, I'm going to give it back and let you guys fight for it.
yes, like Tommy wants to give it to Heath. Kenny's like, I want my rematch because I was
Yeah,
the champion and I get a rematch. So then Heath versus
Ethan
Kenny
versus
for that
Kenny.
title. Book it for Bound for Glory, Scott D'Amore, please.
Hashtag Scott D'Amore.
Okay. So this while this wasn't like the worst thing, like I've seen worse matches, but this
That's
one
true.
made me feel sad, and I think that is a little bit worse.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
I
just like,
literally
oh,
I felt horrible. I was like, it was like watching like sadness on in the ring. It was
like
like,
it
and
reminded me of like Mickey Rourke's character from The Wrestler. That's how sad I felt
oh my
during this
god,
match.
yes, there you
I
go.
was like, this is exactly how I feel, but like it was like this is real time instead of a movie. And I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh,
I love you, Tommy. You are a legend. You have my
absolutely,
mad respect, but
dude.
this Kenny should have retained here. And I'm hoping that Tommy doesn't keep it for long. And
Yeah,
then as I looked up his age, now it makes sense. I was like, I thought about it. Why was he even on this card? Like, what is happening? And then I come to find out he's from New York. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. You want to get the
yeah,
hometown crowd
yeah.
behind him. So I'm hoping that if not this Thursday, next Thursday in 2 weeks, he'll be like, I forfeit this title. I'm like, okay, cool. Then I feel like as sad as this match was, then I'll be like, okay, you know what? Now I'm a little more okay with it if that means we're getting Kenny and
Yeah,
Heath or something like that.
or Kenny and somebody because
Seriously.
I feel Kenny would come back for his title.
Seriously, I would love to see it. So we leave this match. And then strap in, kids, because from this point on, this pay per view goes bananas for
Oh
me
my god! Oh
personally.
no, it did. It was like you're like, oh, I feel so sad too. Holy shit! Where did that
Oh,
come from?
okay. Because next up, as after the Digital Media Championship, we get a singles match between Deonna Purrazzo and a returning Jordan Grace. My homegirls are in the ring once again. And then I had to be reminded because I forgot before Jordan took some time off to do bodybuilding during the summer. I forgot, and commentary did a good job reminding me, and so did the video package, that Deonna is 4-0 against Jordan within the last 2 years. Every time they faced each other in the last 2 years, Deonna has always won. And this match fucking ruled.
Oh my god, it was so good, and it went a decent time too.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, we got our tag team, ladies tag team, in a decent time. I was like, are they going to treat this one with respect too? Because this one needed it. It needed that. It was like these two women, man. Whoo, jeez, we. It this match was so angry. I mean, just angry, and I was here for it.
Like, this
Oh,
match out the gate just started with pure anger. So like the bell rings, so Purrazzo wants to be a good sport, and she offers her hand, and then Jordan immediately goes on the attack. I'm like, yes, this is what I want to see. Pick up where we left off because these girls hate each other.
no
And
love
then
lost there.
Nope. The fight spills out to the ring where Deanna drives Jordan back first into the apron, like pure spine to the apron. I'm like, ah, ah,
Mm,
ah. And
mm.
then Deanna just goes in. She starts to go for the Fujiwara armbar. Jordan fights back with some power, one arm power slams. I'm like, girl is literally, listen, those muscles are not for show. Everybody,
No,
like,
my God.
Jordan is my female Hercules,
She is
and I
stacked.
love her. She
She is
is.
stacked. Oh, my Lord. You
I've
know,
missed Jordan so much.
I love the ref that was in this match, too.
Yes, this ref was
I
awesome.
love her. I love her. Anytime she's in a match, I love her.
Oh, she's so good. And like the
Ugh.
ref, this ref has such good ring awareness too.
Yep.
It was so good. But and it just didn't let up. The gas pedal kept going as this match went
Oh, my
on. Like
God.
it didn't stop.
No, it
Like
didn't.
Jordan goes for a Michinoku driver. Then Deanna counters and puts another Fujiwara armbar. Jordan counters and hits a superplex into the Juggernaut jackhammer. Like, girl, I was like, oh my gosh. The double clothesline to knock them both out was a thing of beauty.
Oh, my God. That was fantastic. I love that. You know, I was very much like what I loved. One of the things I loved is that Jordan, when I'm talking to Jordan, Deanna would get Jordan in the submission holds, and Jordan would just be like strong arm her way out of them. And I was like, oh, damn. I was like, well, Deanna, you're going to need to get something else because obviously she can get out of those very easily.
And boy, that Deanna started putting in her bag of tricks that I know she has because we just been getting the submissions for the last couple weeks, but now we started to see the old Deanna and her bag of tricks are coming out because after that double clothesline, Deanna hits Jordan with a pump kick. That kick, I was like, oh, here we go. And then she grabs Jordan and throws her into a German suplex.
Yep. Oh my God. This was like this was the oh my God, this was the angriest wrestling match I have ever watched from both of these women. They just do not like each other. And everything they did just was like, I'm doing this to you because I hate you. There was no, I'm just doing this because we're wrestling and I want to do this. La la la. No, it was like I hate you, so I'm going to literally try to kill you. And it was so good. It was, oh my God, yeah, all of the, oh my, I literally, I texted Mikey when I was watching it, going, if this match ends in a submission, I will quit.
I was
I
like, no,
will
you won't.
absolutely quit because I was like, this match cannot end in a submission. This has got to end in a pin. It has to. Because I mean, Deanna's really good at that. She's really good at that submission, the submission holds, and her opponent's tapping out. This was going so well, and I was like, if she gets Jordan in a submission hold and Jordan taps out, I'm quitting. I'm
You're
never
just
going to
like,
do it
I'm
again.
leaving table for two.
I will
Like,
never
I'm
do it
done.
again. I was like, I will quit. And Mikey's like, no, you won't. I
I was like, no, you're not.
I will quit. I was like, oh my God. That's how good this was.
I had to calm Will down. I was just like, no, you won't. And I said, you'll be fine. Just because. So at the time, so to give a little backstory, by the time that Will got to this match, I texted him. I was just like, you'll be fine for this match. And I believe I had texted you that at this point, while he was watching this match, at this point, I think I was toward the tail end of the PCO Bully Ray match about to start the Rascals versus Motor City Machine Guns. And I was just like, you'll be fine. Like, it's not going to end in a submission, but it was more so, I'm like, it was more less of, no, you're not going to quit. And I like the underlying tone was, you better not quit. I was like, absolutely not. This is like, I will fight you. I will dishonor, as Eddie Murphy said in Mulan, it's like dishonor on your whole family.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Seriously, I was like, if it ends in a submission, I am done. I am so done.
that speaks volumes to how. Listen, I knew going into this match that this match was going to be a banger because Deanna and Jordan, for the last 2 years that I've been watching Impact, this rivalry, I can watch them fight forever, and I'm okay with that. And normally, I'm just like, well, I don't know. Maybe if Will will like this. I'm like, no, Will, you're going to love these two fighting each other. You're going to love this match. And I will eat crow if you do not like this match. And I love being right.
Yeah, I was. Oh my god, yeah, it was a fantastic match. Like,
The
ugh.
finishing sequence. So after that German suplex, right? Deanna tries one more time for a Fujiwara armbar, but Jordan continues to break free from it. And then at this point, Deanna hits her ultimate submission kind of finisher, the Queen. By the way, the Queen's Gambit is one of my favorite named finishers in
Yeah,
Impact Wrestling. I was just like, oh, God, what a like the imagery that pops up with if you call something the Queen's Gambit is great. So Deanna tries for the ultimate finisher, the Queen's Gambit, and she tries it numerous times on Jordan because she's getting desperate. But then Jordan picks up Deanna, hits her with the Juggernaut Driver, which is like a pump handle and then back body slam. And Jordan picks up the win here. Jordan, after a 2-year feud with Deanna, going into this match 4-0, now goes out with being the one to give Deanna her first loss in this feud. Jordan Grace wins. What a return for Jordan. This match fucking ruled.
yes. This. I mean, I can't even. I mean, yeah, I did not quit, obviously.
Obviously, because you're still here.
Yeah. But it was God. This match was it was angry and it was brutal and it was given its due and I think it shined in this pay per view. It is one of those that I'm like, oh my god, you guys, if you did not watch this match, go watch this match because you will be like, holy
Seriously,
crap.
I put this match in like my favorite because
Yeah.
I have a list. Because at the end of the year, what we like to do at the Biconics is we like to, when we recap the year in wrestling, we each go down like our favorite men's and women's matches, like our top three, but we talk about our favorite. And this one is currently sitting in like top 5 position for me so far. And that's saying something because I'm like, Jordan took the summer off and she came back and her Deanna picked up right to where they left off. And at this point of the pay per view, because we still have 3 matches afterwards, at this point, I'm just like, I'm like, if nothing else surpasses surpasses or reaches my like excitement, I was ready to claim this. This is my match of the pay per view. But this was a close, but it ended up being a close second because we'll talk about what ended up being my match of the night. But honestly, like, listen, I love Trinity. I love the tag women's match, but for me personally, from a wrestling standpoint, like I love the story in Trinity's match, which we'll talk about later. But to me, this was my favorite women's match on this pay per view, like hands down. Like these two went at it. No love was lost, as Will said when we started talking about this. And I love the fact that Jordan finally picked up a win against Deanna after failing to win against her the last 2 years. This match, as soon as this match ended, I was just like in awe. I was just like, I need a cigarette. That's oh my gosh. I was like, I just watched art in motion. You are muted.
Why does it keep doing that? It's so weird.
I don't know.
Um, but no, this is a damn good match, man. I mean, it was. Oh God, it was so good. I can't say enough about it. It just everything about it was just it like the planets aligned. I mean, truly, it was that good. I mean, it wasn't. I'm not just saying it because it was a really good match.
It
Like
really was.
like holy shit. It was, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting something, but I wasn't expecting that. And man, it blew my expectations out of the water. Blew them out.
I was like, after this match, and when Will messaged me telling me he was like, "This match ruled," I was just like, I love it when I can make claims and people actually like it. Know I know what I'm talking about because immediately when this match got announced, I'm like, "Oh, Will, you are in for a treat!" Like, I will stake my professionally wrestling fan card on this match. That I was like, "You are going to love this match."
Oh, and I did. Man, did I ever. God, it was so good.
I'm
Just so
so with Jordan back in the knockouts division. I'm so excited. Listen, whether it's for Bound for Glory, if they want to stretch it out, Trinity versus Jordan is a match I want to see so bad too.
Oh my God.
Listen, I was like, I need to prepare myself. And it was after this match that I internally thought, I was like, damn. I was like, I should have asked Will, like, do you kind of want to watch this together? Uh, And I think I get spoiled because I get to watch it with some of my wrestling friends that live near me, like my friend Uriel. Shout out to Uriel. Hey, bud, how you doing? I get spoiled because I get to watch most of the pay per views with him, but he's not a big Impact person. But anytime there's Deanna and Jordan, I always make sure he watches it. And he's like, "Lord have mercy, that was a great match." I'm like, "I know." And I was like, "Damn it, this was a good match for me to watch with Will, so we could scream together."
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God. I did. I screamed. I was
This
like,
match in
oh.
the main event is where I had people come check in with me and they're like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you're screaming. Like, are you okay?" I'm
Are
like,
you
"No,
all right?
I'm like, yes, I'm fine. I just witnessed two women beat the hell out of each other and it was fantastic."
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like, this match ruled. This was great. And then the fun kept coming because next up, we had Bully Ray versus PCO and anything goes match. So before we even get to the match, like Bully Ray is still blinded from the gasoline and he happens to run into Santino and a bunch of the backstage people and a bunch of refs. And Bully Ray is trying to bitch his way out of not having this match. But then it doesn't happen. He tries to leave, but Santino's like, "Nah, bro." He has the whole security team with
He
him.
does.
And then PCO gets just desserts and attacks the bully from behind, and they brawl to the top of the ramp.
Oh my God. It was so good. I loved this whole thing. I mean, it was so funny watching Bully Ray try to leave the building. And they were like, "Where are you going? You're not leaving. What are you doing?" And he's like, "I gotta get out of here. This has gone too far." I was like crying like a bitch. And
So,
then,
okay. So when he said this has gone too far, I sat here and I literally, like, if you could record me watching this, this is the part where I would have turned to the camera, break the fourth wall, go get a close in shot. I'm like, "Bully Ray, you said this was too far, sir. Do we not remember that you set PCO on fire?" Like,
battery acid. I mean,
battery.
come on.
I was like, battery acid. You hit him with the car. You tried to bury him a couple weeks ago. You and Steve Macklin set him on fire. Like,
Yes.
I was like, now it's too far. I was like, "Sir, have several seats." And the match, the bell didn't even ring. We got like a good 3 to 4 minutes where they were just beating the tar out of
Crap
each
out of
other.
each other. Oh my God. It
Bully,
was so great.
exactly. Bully Ray sends PCO tumbling down the ramp, and then Bully knocks PCO off the apron and then back first into a pile of chairs. And then,
Yeah. I mean,
and like,
Bully
yeah,
Ray really, I mean, just devastates him at the beginning of this match. I
and the
mean,
bell didn't even ring. And then
no.
yep,
And PCO never got a hit off.
no. And then Bully Ray does the one thing in horror movies you're never supposed to do. He turns his back to the
Yep.
monster. What
Yep.
happens when he does so? This allows PCO to like get a trash can and pummel Bully
Yep.
Ray with it. Both men finally enter the ring, and the bell finally rings after like
Yep.
5 minutes of them beating the crap out of each other.
Oh my God. Yeah, and
So,
Bully Ray set up the tables.
listen, this was a beautiful
Oh,
sequence because Bully Ray sends PCO
oh,
crashing through not one, not two, but four tables. And PCO does not stay down as Bully
no.
tries to retreat.
Oh my God. It was so good. I was like, damn. He threw him through one table, and I was like, oh shit. And then he picked him up and threw him through the second one. And I was like, oh crap. Then the third one. And I was like, geez Louise. I was like, PCO, what are you doing, man? And then the fourth one happened. And then don't forget there was the part where PCO was setting up the two chairs.
Woo!
Then he was climbing in, and Bully Ray hit him and knocked him into the two chairs that he set
Oh
up.
my gosh.
This match was crazy. It was so much fun to watch.
It
My
was, and
God.
then it was, and then it gets better. So as PCO won't stay down, Bully Ray tries to retreat up the ramp, and then security and Santino Marella stand in Bully's way to get out. And they're all telling Bully is like, nah, you better turn around. You got a match to finish. You're not running out of here. As anything goes. Like, we'll fight backstage if you need to. And then once again, Bully Ray commits cardinal sin number 2, and he slaps the general manager. And so he slaps him. He turns back around to see where PCO is, which then allows Santino Marella, if you know him from WWE, he pulls out the Cobra sock puppet from his jacket pocket. And I love the sequence of events. He puts it on, and he it's flat down. He hits it, and then he turns the head,
Yep.
and then he's just like walking up. He's like, "Come on, come on!" And then when Bully Ray turns around, it's just dink.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
It was
It was
it's the silliest
hilarious.
move. It is the silliest move, and I love it.
This match was so cheesy, and I was here for it. My God, I was here for it.
Which and then so Bully rolls down the ring and then picks it back up, and then PCO is waiting on the floor for him, like raises up and turns to look at him, and Bully Ray loses his mind. This match continues, and then things get violent. PCO suplexes Bully into that ladder. I was like, oh, my
Oh, I
back.
know.
My back can never. That ladder spot was
Oh
crazy.
my God.
Bully then returns the favor as he launches PCO off the top into the ladder. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, PCO is not a small man. That is a lot of meat hitting that floor.
You're
And the
kidding.
way that PCO bounced off that ladder too.
Yep. Oh
And
my
then
God.
we fast forward. PCO comes with a choke slam through a table. PCO goes low with the cheese grater.
The cheese grater, not cheese. He took that cheese grater and shoved it up Bully Ray's pant leg, his short leg. He just went right up. And he's, oh my God, he's like, my balls.
Listen, I'm here for the silliness, and I was just like, ugh. Listen, those
Oh my God.
Parmesan nutmeg balls of his got grated, and
They did.
I was like, oh, you're gonna be chafing in the morning, sir. Like, oh my gosh. So okay. Then things get out of here. So as soon as the cheese grater spot is out, PCO goes off the top of the rope with the deanimator, and then he whoops Bully Ray through a at first PCO tries the demonator him through the table, but it didn't necessarily work the first time. But then PCO, being the consummate professional, grabs Bully Ray, throws him, like power bombs him into the table to make sure it breaks, and PCO defeats Bully Ray to end this anything goes match. This match ruled as well, just
Oh
because
my
of
God,
how
it did.
silly and crazy it was.
It was absolute chaos fun. It was stupid humor. Like just and I don't mean that in a negative way by any means. This is the funnest match of the night. This was I think one of the craziest matches of the night. And it was so great because it through the whole event they have been keeping this storyline going. Like they have just built it and built it and built it and built it and built it to this climax. And then just watching Bully Ray just like destroying PCO out of sheer fear than anything else, and then PCO rising from the dead and getting, like you said, with the minute Bully turned his back, I was like, oh, that was a bad idea. And sure enough, the monster rose, and that's when it all went down to Crazy Town.
Ooh,
And
child.
God, I have never laughed, shouted. I was laughing so hard I was crying at times. I mean, it was pure entertainment. Pure. Absolute pure entertainment.
Once again, once this match was over, I was like, damn it. I was like, okay. I made it official in my head, and we're gonna make this announcement live here. Is to say, for Bound for Glory, me and Will are gonna find a way to watch this thing live together because this was too good, and I regret not watching it with him. So we're
Yeah.
going to find a way to watch it
Yes.
together.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. Ah, it was so good. It was so fun. It was just fun. Pure and
It was
simple fun.
camp, and I was here for
Yep.
it.
Me too.
I love it so much. And then I
Oh,
was like, wow, these last two matches have been great. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. Listen, I was not prepared for the next match because in my head I knew it was going to be great, but holy shit, these four individuals in this next match fucking turned it out. Excuse my French, but holy crap. Next up, we had for the World Tag Team Championships, we have the Rascals, your champions, taking on the challengers of the Motor City Machine Guns. Oh my gosh. Like, I was not prepared for this match.
yeah, this was a good one too. I mean, this one was, yeah. It's so funny is it's like none of the matches disappointed me except for the one, but and this one I was like after the Bully Ray PCO match, I was like, oh my, I was so hyped and so like entertained, and I was like, okay, so what's the next one going to be? Is it going to be like just as epic or what? And then, yep, sure enough, it was just. I was like, all right, Rascals versus Motor City Machine Guns. Let's yeah, you do it, mans.
Listen, I have always said that Motor City Machine Guns is one of the top is up at the top of the tag team divisions of the world for me between them and the likes of FTR and Aussie Open and the Uso brothers. Like those are like my top four teams when it comes to tag teams. But the fact, and I don't discount the Rascals because they're an amazing tag team. This is why I love tag team wrestling, and this is why I tell people they need to give tag team wrestling a chance because the Rascals and Motor City Machine Guns, like this was the purest tag team match you were going to get. Like combo offenses, like one upping each other, just the sheer athletic ability.
It was off the charts, absolutely off the charts. It was so good. There were so many great moves. There was so much. These two teams are so well matched, and it was for me. It was anybody's game.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally like, okay, I don't know who's going to win this.
Seriously. And like when we made our predictions on Thursday, on Friday, when we were reviewing the Go Home show, like at that time, I was like, okay, the Rascals aren't going to lose here. And I still kind of had that thought as we were watching the match. But boy, did they make me believe. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, I was like, I think the Motor City Machine Guns could have a chance here. They could take it.
Yeah, I was literally about a quarter in. I was like, I don't know who's going to win this match. I really don't. Because, usually you can see the formula. I couldn't see the formula for this one. I was like,
not for this one.
I was like, oh my god, this is anybody's game, and I was, oh my god, I was loving it. And Trey Miguel, by the way, is delicious.
Again, brown boy supremacy.
Yeah.
Hi.
That double fours they did, man, that was fantastic. I was like, oh my god, because let's see, who was it? Who did the first one? Was it oh god, why are their names escaping me all of a sudden?
So we have Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz of the Rascals, and then we have Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin of the Motor City Machine Guns.
Was it Chris Sabin who did it first?
Chris Sabin has like the shorter hair and was kind of rocking the salt and pepper like goatee beard kind of thing. Okay, so
I don't remember who did it first.
Everything kind of goes nuts here. So okay, where do we even begin? So the figure four lock. Shelley hits the figure four lock on Zachary Wentz. Okay, Trey breaks it up, but then Chris Sabin comes in with the figure four of his own.
Yep.
Again, the one up means Zach comes in with a handspring knee strike.
Yeah.
There. And then, Miguel connects with the springboard moonsault. And then Shelley does one of his own. I'm just, listen,
Yeah,
it is a thing of beauty.
it was. It was such a good match. God, it was such a good match. And then,
It was, but as you were saying, this match ruled.
oh my God, it was so good. I know I'm like a record on repeat, but it was so good. It was, I mean, this was like Deanna and Jordan good. I mean, it was so good. And I honestly did not know who was going to win, until what happens, which we kind of figured at the last event we were talking about is when the Rascals were backstage talking, and
To the
the
good
the
hands,
good
yeah.
hands, and they're like, well, if you want a shot at this title, then we have to win against Motor City, Machine Guns. And they were like, okay. And then they walked off, and sure enough,
Yeah, so okay. So okay. So everything kind of goes nuts. So the referee has to stop Trey because he's going to use the title as a weapon. But as Trey is distracting that ref, Zach tries to use the other title on to hit Chris Sabin with it, and but Zach successfully cracks Sabin, and Miguel Trey launches himself off the top rope, to take everybody out on the floor,
yep.
but to no success. Then Chris spikes Trey with
Oh
a
yeah.
DDT onto the title belt. And I was like, oh, this is the moment. I think the Motor City
Mm-hmm.
Machine Guns got it. And then John Schuyler of the Good Hands pulls the ref out of the ring, which allows Zach to hit Chris with the spray paint and allows Trey to steal the win. And so your
Yep.
winners and still Impact World Tag Team Champions, the Rascals.
And then I love on the floor where the good hand. Who was it again? I'm sorry, I missed the
John Schuyler.
John Schuyler. That's what it was. When John Schuyler was like, and the ref was in the middle, like, who did that? Did you do that? He's like, I didn't do it. He did it. And he was like trying to blame it on one of the Motor
Literally,
City
Shaggy,
guys.
it wasn't me.
It was so funny, and the ref was like pissed. It was like, did you ever? He's like, it wasn't me, man. He was like, no, it wasn't me. He kept pointing at, I think it was Shelly.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
he kept pointing at Shelly, and it was so funny. I was like, oh my God, that is hilarious. But yeah, so the Rascals pulled it out with a little bit of help from their friends, quote unquote.
So I'm interested to see how this develops. I think the Motor City Machine Guns are not done with them quite
Oh
yet, which,
no.
listen, give me more of the Rascals and Motor City Machine Guns. Like, please,
Yes, God, it was so good. It was
please give
so
me
good.
that match.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I agree.
this was such a fun match, and just the one-up men's ship, and just I love me some good tag team wrestling where everybody's trying to outdo each other. It is
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite things. So that was a lot of fun. Again, between Deanna and Jordan, Bully Ray and PCO, this tag team championship match, everything kept going. And then for a different reason, this next match, our semi-main event, the Trinity defending her Knockouts World Championship against Alicia Edwards. So again, we talked about this on the review on Friday, but Lord have mercy. At first, I was like, oh, okay, Alicia's not going to win. Like, this is going to be a filler match. And then the contract signing sold me into, I'll be like, oh, this is must see TV now. Like, we need to watch about this match. Did not disappoint in the sense of how crazy things got. So, to begin with, before the match even starts, Alicia, mostly her husband, Eddie Edwards, gets on the mic, disparages New York. And then what I love is that the match takes a couple minutes to start because everyone then starts throwing glow sticks
Oh my
at
God, that was so
Eddie and
great.
Alicia. And the ref is just like Trinity is trying to stay in character, but she's like using her foot. And Alicia's also trying to use her foot to like push out all the stuff. And the ref is like trying to listen. I was like, I'd rather glow sticks than like the old ECW days where beer cans and
Right,
alcoholic
that's
beverages
fair.
were being thrown into the
Yeah,
ring.
that's fair. I mean, it
But
makes sense with glow sticks because of Tiffany's entrance and everything, so that made sense.
yeah,
So,
I love Trinity's entrance so
I
so much.
yeah, me too.
It's like I
Yeah,
love the black light entrance. Her gear was on fire. I was just like, yes, Trinity, you. I was like, yes, fashion queen. It's just
Yes,
so colorful, and I love it so
me
much.
too.
I
I
was like,
love her.
literally, Trinity out here being the subtle gay ally we
What
need.
what did she have in her hair
It
in
said
this one?
champ in her hair. I
Okay,
was
I
like,
couldn't read it. I
yes.
was like, damn it, I couldn't. Every time she would turn, I'd be like, what does it say? What does it say? Oh, she turned too quick, so I didn't
It
get a
said
chance to
champ
see.
in her hair. I was like, yes.
Love her. Yeah, I
Trinity
when
is a
oh
queen.
my god, she is. I even have Yas Queen. Um, but yeah, as the announcer's trying to announce the thing and Eddie takes the mic, I was like, shut up. I was like, somebody needs to shut this man up. I am tired of hearing him spew diarrhea out of his mouth. Shut up, because everything he says is shit. Truly. And I think it's so funny when you're talking about the glow sticks being thrown. He was all like trying to cover Alicia up, like, oh no, don't hurt my beautiful wife who tells me what to do because I'm such a man. And I'm like, gross. You're gross. You're disgusting.
Character is gross.
Oh yeah.
In
Yeah,
real
yeah, yeah,
life,
yeah.
he is such a sweetheart.
Oh yeah. The character is disgusting, and I hate him
And
so
that's
much.
exactly how we were supposed to feel because I still love the comeback Trinity gave during that contract signing. It was like, hold up, didn't you turn your back on the company when you were with Honor No More, saying that Impact wasn't it? I was like, yes. This match was awesome. When we finally got the match started after they got rid of most of the glow sticks, Trinity wastes no time. She rushes and chokes Alicia with her boot in the corner.
Oh my
I was
god, it
like,
was so good.
damn.
I was like, get her, girl, get her.
And then, of course, Trinity being the gymnast that she is, the running splits.
Oh my god. She okay, I'm gonna say Trinity is just fun to watch.
Yes,
She
I
is
agree.
so fun to watch. Her moves, how she moves. I mean, everything she does is just fun, and she's kicking ass while she's doing it. But man, everything she did in this match, I was just like, God, you were just beautiful in everything you're doing. All your moves, everything are just dead on. Talk about someone, and this is, from my perspective, talk about someone whose moves match their character. Like this character of Trinity, everything she does in that ring is Trinity. Like, truly. She doesn't do any moves that don't make sense to her. And I love that. A lot of times, like Alicia was like, she was all over the damn board with different types of moves and this, that, and the other, trying to do this, trying to do that. But Tiffany has Tiffany moves, and I love it. Like, it is like specifically, oh, excuse me, Tiffany. And I love that about her.
Yeah. It's gonna get really complicated because Tiffany and Trinity are
Oh,
almost the
yeah.
same thing, and I'm like, listen, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be probably messing up here, but
I know. I keep saying it, Tiffany, and I don't know why, but my bad.
listen, in an alternate universe where brands don't care about like being super specific of keeping everyone on their brand, Trinity versus Tiffany, I would watch that
Ooh,
match.
I would watch that match too.
Seriously. And the best part is that in this opening sequence, then we get Trinity like literally doing a drop kick to Alicia through the ropes.
Oh yeah. God, this was such a good match.
But then, you know what? I got to give it to Alicia too, because I was just like,
Oh, she held her own.
she held her own. So once she gets back into the ring, she drives Trinity into the top turnbuckle, and then hits a really nice neck breaker to like
Uh-huh.
gain control of the match. Running crossbody. Oh my
Oh.
gosh!
Ooh.
And this is not the only time we'll see the crossbody because this happened. This match, we got the crossbody we got in the next match. I was like, how does a person your size do that? We'll talk about it. But that little crossbody that she hit Trinity with, but then Trinity turns the tide with a backstabber. Like, listen, the backstabber is one of my favorite moves if it's done right.
Yeah.
And then the unthinkable happens. Trinity accidentally takes out the referee with a roundhouse kick.
Oh, I know. I was like, oh, damn.
I was
That's
like,
gonna make it.
it's about to get crunk up in here.
Yep. I was like, this is gonna get interesting.
But and because the ref is out, Trinity puts Alicia in her starstruck submission move. By the way, her new submission that she has is really inventive. It's like an modified octopus, but it's called the starstruck. but the ref's not counting because Alicia's tapping out, but the ref is knocked out. And so then Eddie does the unthinkable, and it wasn't enough for him to put Trinity through the table on Thursday during the show, but he attacks Trinity from behind, and then he sets up another table, and he's about to put her through that table when Frankie Kazarian and the
Hell yeah.
original knockout, his wife Tracy Brooks, come out for the save.
Hell yeah.
Frankie kind of drops Eddie, puts him on the table, which allows Trinity to launch herself off the top rope and put Eddie through the table, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. But it was still good.
I don't care. I was like, yes. I was just like, even though it wasn't the crash that I wanted, we still got Eddie through the table. Best match, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I was like, yes! And then once Eddie was out of the picture, Alicia was toast.
And she knew it too. Her fit. Good. Oh, yeah. Listen, I love Alicia selling it. She's like, oh shit, we're in trouble now.
She's like, well, that's it for that.
I literally have in my notes when Trinity went through the table, and I remember this vividly too. I let out like the gay gasp. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the yes. I was like, yes.
Yep.
And did the finger wag.
Uh-huh.
I was like, ugh, Trinity's my queen. I love her.
Yep. Oh my god, I love Trinity.
It was the end for Alicia, because as soon as Trinity got into the ring, Alicia tried to hit Trinity with a kendo stick, but it's not enough to keep Trinity down. And then she hits the full Nelson slam on Alicia to retain your winner and still Knockouts world champion Trinity. And she celebrates with Frankie Kazarian and Miss Brooks, Tracy Brooks as well.
Brooks.
Honestly, I was okay that this match was only 9 minutes because it did what it needed to.
And the funny thing is I wasn't expecting it to go long. I was literally like, this needs to be a vengeance match. This needs to be they come in, they do some dirty shit, and then Trinity literally kills her.
And that's exactly what she did.
That's exactly what happened.
To both Alicia and Eddie. I was like, yes. They both got their comeuppance. And
they did. And I was so happy that Frankie came in there. I was like, yay. Because, after the assault they did on him.
Seriously. Back at Emergence, we literally witnessed assault on the pay-per-view television screen. I
was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Technically, that is assault. You did that at his place of business, not at the studio. It's like you assaulted that man. Oh my god. I was like, ugh. That's when I was like, I hate this. I hate Eddie so much. That's when I was like, because it was like, the reason I don't like the character is because his wife, basically he does what his wife tells him to do. It's
Homegirl has his balls in her purse.
Yeah, he doesn't have any balls of his own. So, she's like, go do this for me, baby. And it's sort of like the Dom and, Thea relationship, except less gross, but pretty
less
gross,
leathery
pretty
BDSM.
Yeah, less mommy and daddy. And so I was just like, this is why I hate you. I hate you because you're literally becoming a bad guy because of your wife, because she's got some kind of power trip that she seems to need to feed or something. I don't know, but it was just like, I'm ready for the Eddie Frankie fight, or maybe the two going in a mixed tag team.
Well, it's a good thing you brought that up because earlier in the show, and I didn't mention it because I wanted to wait till this. So earlier in the show, before one of the matches, we go backstage with Gia again, and she's there with Impact President Scott D'Amore and Eric Young, and they talk about how this upcoming Thursday is the 1000th episode. And over the last couple of weeks, they've been announcing matches that we're going to get. And one of these matches is Frankie and his wife, Tracy Brooks, taking on Eddie and his wife, Alicia, in a tag team mixed match. And I was like, yes, this is what I want to see.
How did I miss that? I totally missed that.
They didn't really announce it on the show. It was on the social medias.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, wait a minute. I was like, when did that happen? I was like, I don't remember that happening. But now
we'll talk about we'll talk about the 1000th episode and what we currently have lined up at the end of the pay-per-view, because it kind of ties in because as soon as the pay-per-view, because the pay-per-view aired on Friday, and then they taped the 1,000th episode the next day on Saturday. So
Oh, okay.
we're gonna get that 1,000th episode on Thursday. But this match was a lot of fun. Frankie and Alicia got their comeuppance. Trinity, got her vengeance, and it was a beautiful thing.
Oh, it was a beautiful thing. It really was. It was such a beautiful thing. I was so happy.
It was so good.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
so at this point, I was just like, these last four matches were amazing. And then I was just like, wait a minute, what's left again? And I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I had to pause real quick. I needed to get some water. I needed to use the restroom. I needed to gird my loins because, Lord have mercy,
Yep.
in the main event for Victory Road, not for a title, not really stipulation, just in a straight singles match, your main event is Steve Macklin versus Josh Alexander. William, when I tell you I was not prepared, I knew this was going to be a good match because these
Uh-huh.
two are great wrestlers, but Jesus Christ on a cracker,
Oh, yeah.
Lord, like, oh my goodness, like this, what Deanna and Jordan was hard hitting. These two took that and saw that. It was like, all right, we got to hit harder.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
You could, I mean, right out of the gate, you could feel the animosity between these two wrestlers. I mean, it was so, it was like, it was hate filled as well. It really was. I mean, this was the angry men's match. You had the angry women's match. Now you've got the angry men's match. And man, I love the brutality between these two because it was like, God, then they kept. Oh my Lord, I was
Again,
just, oh
I needed multiple cigarettes during and after this match. Like, this match had me spent by the end of it.
yeah, I was. Oof, Lord have mercy.
Okay, so like it just immediately starts off the bat. Like Macklin wastes no time, clotheslines Steve clotheslines Josh over the top rope onto the floor, and then Josh fires back with a modified brainbuster on
Yeah,
the edge of the ring apron, and that thud. I was like, oh gosh, somebody got hurt.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. This was a very loud match.
Ooh.
Like all the hits, everything was loud, and it felt like it hurt. Like this match felt like it hurt.
And then the mind game started going because as soon as Macklin recovers from that brainbuster, he starts to focus it, like, not really, but like doesn't really hit it that hard. But in the storytelling, he goes after the surgically repaired left
Yeah,
arm of Josh. And I was just like, this fits with his character because his character is just like the spec op as a wrestler. Like, he's going to
yeah.
find the weakness and
Yep.
he's going to target it and he's going to take advantage of it. And
And
as he's doing this, Josh, in order to get Macklin to stop, throws him into the steel ring post.
yeah.
Jesus.
And one of the things I did love about these two, because it shows you, I think, the two distinct characters here, is that Macklin was very dirty. I mean, he went after the arm, he did anything he could, and Josh didn't. He knew about the groin, but he didn't take advantage of it. Like, never once. I mean, there's a moment towards the end where the ref is like, oh, he's taking advantage of that, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I don't actually think he was. I think that he was just like, I'm grabbing you, I'm doing it, this thing. I don't think he was actually trying to use his previous injury against him. Unlike Macklin, who was like anything he could to win this match. He was trying anything.
And again, like, I use this term loosely in the sense of wrestling, not the actual thing behind it. But because Steve Macklin his wrestling character is literally like a veteran soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has the tagline "bag him and tag him," which I was like, oof. As a child of a Marine and knowing how it is, I was like, that is gross, but I'm kind of here for it because you make me hate you, and that's exactly what you are.
Yeah.
But like, all of Steve Macklin's responses and his move sets, like it reminded me of like not really, but like it was like guerrilla tactics, guerrilla
Yeah, it
warfare.
was. No, it really was.
Very like he was being very analytical and smart about what he does and when he does it and how he does it. Because even though he got ran into the Sting real post immediately, like Steve doesn't like let up because then he begins to stomp on that arm to keep control
Yep.
of the match. I'm
Yep.
like, stop it. No, stop it. But then the tide turns because then Josh gets advantage and he just goes in a series of German suplexes, one after the other, culminating in a total of 10, William.
I know.
William, Lord have mercy. I was like, I was dizzy watching that. I was
Yep.
like, Lord.
I mean, it was just like one right after the other. And I was like, holy crap. And I was very much the same. I was just like, I don't know what to think right now.
And it was at this point in the match, I was just like, Josh Alexander, you have never been hotter to me.
I know. I was like, whew, oh my goodness, it's warm in here.
I was like, oof. But then it doesn't let up because I was like, oh, damn, like Steve Macklin should be out. Nope, Steve gets right back up and he hits a Scud missile through the ropes.
Yep.
And then I love the storytelling because then Josh's arm gives out and Steve capitalizes with an Olympic slam for a close count of 2. And I was like, ooh, that arm is falling apart now.
Yeah.
I was like, Josh, no, don't hurt yourself.
I know. I was like, oh God, no. God, I felt so bad. I know. I was like, the arm, man, the arm is shredded. I was like, oh God, because it wasn't. It just was about when he tried to go up on the rope and he fell, and I was just like, oh my God,
like it gave out. I was like,
oh God,
oh no, oh no, oh no,
oh God, yeah. I thought
again not letting up. Steve like hits. He goes for that London dungeon lock. But Josh doesn't give up and is able to separate using a belly to back. Listen, Josh Alexander and these suplexes are a thing of beauty.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my gosh! So Josh then tries to. This was when I screamed at my television. So Steve is like he's like sitting on the apron at this point, trying to create the separation. And then Josh Alexander, for as tall as he is, he runs and hits a low crossbody through that bottom rope. I was like, sir, you literally, and just the impact and just like the wraparound of his upper and lower body going across Steve Macklin's back. I was like, oh, Steve Macklin broke a rib, that is a spinal injury.
Yeah.
I was like, this is where I screamed and I kept screaming at my television from this point on because that crossbody, I was like, normally like the middle and top rope is what I'm used to, but literally close to the floor underneath that third and bottom rope, I'm like,
yeah.
And to add insult to injury, the sound it made when those bodies collided.
So I'm telling you, this was a loud match. You heard every hit. I mean, even the small hits you heard. It was brutal. That's all I can say. It was a brutal match. A brutal match. I mean, you could tell there was history behind this match.
This was the match that we were supposed to get when Josh was champion, but then he got
a year ago or something.
Like 6-7 months ago, and then Steve got hurt shortly thereafter. Like, so my goodness! And I was like, if this was the championship match we were supposed to get, like, honestly, I would have literally. And honestly, this match is probably in my top 3 right now for the year of men's matches. This
was so good.
I thought the violence was over, but oh no, it just keeps increasing. So as soon as that crossbody is over, Josh attempts a C4 spike finisher, but then Steve counters it into a Michinoku driver for a 2 count.
Mm-hmm.
Then Josh connects with a backbreaker into an ankle lock, and then Josh continues. And then Josh starts to be like, okay, we gotta finish this up quickly. Puts in another ankle lock. Steve Macklin breaks free, and then Josh gets hit with one of Steve Macklin's finishers. Caught in the crosshair.
Oh my God! And I think it's so great because the match got more and more brutal as it went on. Because it started out pretty rough, but man,
Hmm.
as they were like getting to that sort of tired phase, it was like, I'm going to destroy you. I need to destroy you. And it literally became about that. And it was like, holy God, this is going to get ugly so fast.
And you know what? I thought Macklin was about to win because as soon as he hits the caught in the crosshairs, he then
Yep.
immediately goes and hits Josh with the KIA, which I know what those stand for. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, but it makes sense for his character. But that was still brutal.
Oh my God.
But as Macklin hits the KIA, it's the impact is enough to send Josh over toppling to the outside, which is not what Macklin wanted. So they go out, they get back in the ring, they immediately start to strike each other, the strikes where they were just chopping each
Oh,
other in
just
the ring.
chopping each other. My God.
And
It
they
was
just keep going back and forth until Josh gets fed up and then just literally boots
yeah.
like Macklin, which then Macklin turns it into a jar head drop, which I laughed at that move. I'm like, ha ha,
Yeah.
I know what that means.
Yep.
But then Josh finishes it off because he connects and gets Macklin into a C4 spike. And oh my gosh, Macklin sold the hell out of this. I'm like, oh, Josh, you dropped him on his head.
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh. But C4 spike and the winner of this match, Josh Alexander, picks up the win against Steve
Yep.
Macklin.
Yep.
This, as soon as I was done, I was yelling and screaming, and I was like, this was my match of the pay per view.
Yep.
Like Tiana and Jordan is my favorite women's match on the card. But if I
Yep.
took everything that we got, this main event, Steve versus Josh, is my match of the entire pay per view match of the night.
I would agree. This was my absolute favorite. And like I said, there was a lot of great matches in this pay per view. I mean, the men's tag team was a great match. I mean, the women's the S&M Ultra or
I
yeah, the
mean,
MK Ultra
listen,
match was great. I mean, there were a lot of great matches. I mean, even the cheesy funness of PCO and Bully Ray was a great fight. The Tiffany fight was, or damn it, the Trinity fight was. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Tiffany. It's so weird. The Trinity fight was fantastic. For what it was, because we knew what it was going to be. But it was fan. Again, it was fun, and it was entertainment. And then this thing came along, and I mean, I could feel the brutality through my television. Those hits. I felt those hits. I could literally. It was like the vibrations came through my television and hit me. And I was very vocal during this match. I was so vocal during this match because I was just like, oh my God, this is another one. I didn't know where it was going.
it
Like
could have
truly.
gone either way.
And I know how I wanted it to go, but I was like, I don't know if it's going to go that way because this is, I mean, some of the moves in there and some of the trickery and the the suspicious moves here and there, and then the cheap shots, because Macklin went for the cheap shots with the arm, and things like that. I was like, I don't know where this is going. I was like, honestly, there was a point there where I was like, I don't know if Josh Alexander is going to finish this match.
Like, even though we picked Josh to win,
Mm-hmm.
like this whole match, I was like, honest, I was thinking, I was like, honestly, it could go either way. And if
Mm-hmm.
I'm being completely honest, I would be okay
Yeah.
whichever way it went,
I mean,
anyways.
honestly,
Like, I
yeah.
would obviously, I love Josh and Steve Macklin is a heel, but honestly, if Steve won here, I wouldn't be mad either.
Yeah. I
I,
mean,
I want more of them. Give me more of them.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, I was very much like, yeah, I mean, even though I don't like Macklin, I respect this fight because I mean he held his own there, and I felt that there was no. I mean, yeah, he took his cheap shots, but that's okay because that's what he's supposed to do. But I thought it was very well matched. I mean, to the point where there were times where I thought, oh, one of them's going to be stronger than the other, but they weren't. They were on it, man. And I was loving every minute of it. Man, talk about a way to end an event. This was a way to end the night. And I just was like, nothing else from the night should have been in this spot. Sometimes in these events, I think, oh, well, this fight should have been here, and this one should have been here, this one should have been here. I think all of these landed right where they needed to be, except for the one. I think the Tommy Dreamer one probably should have been a pre-show.
Honestly, I would have switched that one out for ABC versus the most professional wrestling gods tag team match. Like, let that be on the card, the main card, and you could.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I don't want to put Kenny King on the pre-show, but honestly, if you switched it, the flow would have been a lot better.
It would have been. It would have, because that fight would have matched the energy that was in the main event, like the full event. You could. They handled that whole Tommy Dreamer match wrong. They did. They handled it wrong, and I don't care who thinks. People can disagree with me all they want. I think they handled it wrong. I think they did a disservice to both King and Tommy. I think both of them got a disservice in that match, and I think the owners should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, since we're kind of giving our final thoughts, let's go into our final review, and then we can talk about what to expect from the 1000th episode, which we're covering this week. So for me, again, Tommy Dreamer versus Kenny was definitely the low point of this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I also was a little disappointed. I was missing Alan Angels on my television screen was also a crime against the thirstiness.
It was. I was like, I want to see more of him. Literally.
Yes, and I was kind of disappointed that the production truck ruined that match, but honestly, I'm kind of glad they fixed it because I think I would have been more mad had that happened during any of the other matches on the main card. I would have been like, oh my gosh. But minus that little production issue and then the bummer that was the Digital Media Championship match, the rest of the card was so strong.
It was. It really was.
Minus that one outlier. And it wasn't egregiously bad. So for me, I'm going to give Victory Road a solid 8.5 out of 10 for me. This was a solid pay-per-view. And honestly, this is in contention with my favorite Impact pay-per-view between this and Under Siege. Under Siege is still my favorite Impact pay-per-view from this year. But man, for a 2-week build, this was such a great show. And now that we have 5 weeks until Bound for Glory, I'm so excited to see what our feuds are going to be heading into the Big Four pay-per-view.
I know, right? God, I'm so excited. All right, so for me, as a program overall, I thought it was pretty strong. I thought it was really even with the Tommy Dreamer and the technical thing is you can't help that. That's something they couldn't help,
right?
So I didn't remove points because of that. The Tommy Dreamer and Kevin King, I mean that was what it was, but I don't feel that it actually took anything out of the event. Yeah, it was a down moment. But then we popped right back in, and as if it never happened.
It didn't stop from there.
No, and it, because it could have. That's the thing, is it could have just downed the whole event, and then the next fight would have been the recovery fight, where we're like, oh God, I was just so depressed, that you couldn't focus. But you didn't. It was like boom, 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 and I thought that all of the matches were fantastic, again, except for the one. I thought the 2 pre-show, the 1.5 pre-shows that we saw were fantastic. And I thought there were some beautiful moments in this pay-per-view event. And I also have to say their continuity and consistency was super strong.
Yes.
Super strong.
100% agree.
That whole PCO bully thing, they strung it all the way out through the event. It never got boring because I was like, oh God, is it going to be like, oh, here we go again? No, it was, every one of them was unique and exciting and fun, and it never got boring.
And
So
each segment was the appropriate length of time. It did
yeah,
not go on for too long or too
nope,
short.
nope. None of that backstage stuff was overly long. None of it, and I was like, perfect. So I actually gave this a 9 out of 10 because I thought overall it was super strong. It really was. It kept me from beginning to end. And that's difficult because I have ADHD. So the fact that they kept my attention that's a big thing. Because my mind will tend to wander sometimes, and it's just like, oh, what's over here, blah blah blah. But no, I was on it. I mean, even in the King and Dreamer fight, I was still in it because I was just mainly because I was like, oh God, what is about to happen here? And am I going to cry? Because I think I might cry. But no, I give it a solid 9 out of 10. Truly, solid 9 out of 10.
Oh my goodness, this was a fun pay-per-view.
It was.
And you know, and I appreciate it that we didn't get sledgehammered with the fact that the 1000th episode is next Thursday.
Yes.
So before we wrap up and sign out for the night, let's go over, because this is still Impact related, let's go over what we're getting for the 1000th episode. So, this 1000th episode, I'm expecting it to kind of be a one off where we take a break from all the stories we've been getting, and this is just to celebrate 1000 episodes of Impact Wrestling. So currently listed on the card, we have the reunion of Team 3D, so Bully Ray and Devon. So the Dudley boys are basically getting back together, and they're going to have a match against an undisclosed, unnamed tag team, but they're going to have a tag team match. And I was just like, this is going to be
Oh
fun.
wow. I'm
Listen, the
excited.
Dudley Boys are a staple in wrestling tag teams for me. Them, the Hardys, and Christian and Edge created the tables, ladders, and chairs match. Like, they created TLC, and what we know is so great. We get Frankie Kazarian and his wife Tracy Brooks taking on Eddie Edwards and Alicia Edwards. I was like, yes, I'm excited for that one.
So excited. Me too. Me too.
We're getting a 10 women knockout match, so a 5-on-5, with team 1 being Trinity, Jordan Grace, returning to the ring, TNA legends Awesome Kong and Gail Kim, and a partner that has yet to be named, taking on the team of Deonna Purrazzo, Giselle Shaw, Savannah Evans, TNA legend Angelina Love, and another teammate that has yet to be named too. Listen, you had me at Deonna, Jordan, Trinity, and Giselle in the same match together. Like, you had me at that. And I may have cried a little bit once they announced that Gail Kim is coming back to wrestle in the ring, and so is Awesome Kong. I'm like, oh my! Listen, Awesome Kong and Gail King were the pioneers of the Knockouts division when it was known as TNA. Like, those two were the legit deal, and they had my favorite TNA women's feud ever. I was like, I'm so excited. And then we get two of my favorite gimmick matches. First off is we have the Ultimate X match, which me, oh my gosh. I'm so excited for Will to experience Ultimate X because it is nuts. So essentially, to give you a little bit of a preview, above the ring on the rafters, they have these two ropes that make an X, and the X Division Championship is hanging in the middle of it. So it's like lifted up. And the only way to win the X Division match is you have to climb up the scaffolding. You have to figure out a way to get into the middle of the ropes where the championship is hanging. You need to unhook it, and then you need to land on the ring like 5 feet below, and in order to get that title. It is crazy. No participants have been named yet, but because it's Ultimate X, that means that it's either going to be a number one contendership or it's going to be for the X division. And if it's for the championship, we know that Leo Rush has to participate in it. But I'm excited, but even more so, it's the return of Feast or Fired, and I am so excited for this match. So essentially, what Feast or Fired is, it's a variation of what is known as an on a pole match. So an on a pole match is like, the past ones have been a kendo stick on a pole, championship on a pole match, where there's literally a pole set up like with it raised up a little bit, and you have to grab that thing off in order to win. Now in Feast or Fired, each of the four corners of the ring has a pole with a suitcase in it. And the way that Feast or Fired works is that three out of those four briefcases, one briefcase has a contract for an Impact World Championship match. One has a contract for an X Division Championship match. Another one is a contract for a Tag Team Championship match. And the fourth one is a pink slip. Someone's getting fired.
Oh my gosh, really? That is super awesome.
And like I said, the fact that it is just like we're treating this next week's Impact as a one off has me super excited. And I'm like, and I'm so excited to relive like the history of Impact Wrestling with all the people who have come and gone, the legends that are returning, the honestly, I think this is going to be a fun one. And objectively, like, I don't think I'll be able to give it accurate rating because it seems that this 1000th episode is going to be just pure fun. And I'm super excited. And we get to cover it on Thursday. We get to watch it on Thursday and cover it on Friday.
Loving it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
But, Will, unfortunately, this does bring us to the end of our Table for Two Pinfall Playback pay-per-view review of Victory Road 2023.
Yeah.
But do not fret, my friends, because me and my beautiful co-host Will, we will be back later this week to cover NXT and Impact. So I'm super excited to get to there. But if you like this pay-per-view review, you could check out all the other pay-per-view reviews we have here on the Biconics YouTube channel. Listen, we did two pay-per-view reviews literally last week covering WWE's Payback pay-per-view and then AEW's All Out pay-per-view. It was a long weekend of wrestling, but we also covered the weekly television shows just as we mentioned. So make sure to check us out, hit that bell notification, subscribe, share the videos, comment, share them with your friend, with your mother, share them with your dog who likes to watch their YouTube videos ever so often. You can also follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod on the Instagram, X, Threads, the all the over the place, like literally we're everywhere. And then, of course, if you want to hear more shenanigans of us talking about wrestling, you can check out the Biconics Wrestling Podcast wherever podcasts can be found: Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, Deezer. Like, we're all over the place, and you can hear us argue about nonsense on wrestling. It is a great time. Will, it was such a privilege and an honor to be reviewing this pay-per-view with you. This was a fun one.
It was. This one was super fun. This was wow, this was great.
I love it so much. And thank you for being here as always. And for those of you that tuned in to this review, thank you for watching. And until the next review, remember, from the Table for Two Electric Boogaloo host and the rest of the Biconics boys here, remember, take care of yourself, love one another. And until the next review, thanks for watching and see you later.